You know, when you visit the doctor or you see a nurse, you probably never stop and ask whether they're actually licensed and trained to do the job. You simply just assume that they are. But after you hear this man's story, the question may pop into your head. Here's our WVLT News investigation.
We were both just babies. I was 17.
After decades of marriage, it's only natural that a husband and wife,
there's my beautiful wife,
will settle into defined roles. Lois is the jokester.
Here's the one where you was trying to show me your muscles.
Clyde is the fixer.
Going in, tearing something out, fixing it, standing back and looking and saying, boy, that really looks a lot better. That's just my thing.
But when Clyde got sick with pancreatitis,
I almost lost my life partner.
he was the one in need of fixing.
Yes. The love of my life. I almost lost him. And I can't imagine it. Very emotional, yes.
She says she almost lost Clyde after a home health nurse cared for him.
It was just a nightmare after that lady left my home.
Lois says the woman who came to care for her husband,
Do you remember that face?
That is her, yes.
is identified as Misty Dawn Bacon, the same woman the Jefferson City Police Department says it's investigating for allegedly posing as a nurse. Lois says Bacon showed up at the house to give Clyde insulin through his food bag.
I remember the nurse coming in, putting the food bag on me and getting me situated and her leaving. And then I remember getting tired and then I sort of went out.
He was drooling, he couldn't hold his head up, he couldn't sit up or nothing.
Clyde was taken to the now closed Lakeway Regional Hospital back in 2013. Hospital records from that visit show he was admitted because of an overuse of insulin.
An East Tennessee nurse says lives were in danger when a woman stole her nursing license number.
But Lois says she didn't put two and two together until she watched our exclusive coverage this year. She says that woman used the stolen number to get a job as a home health nurse where she cared for patients illegally.
She came in here pretending to be something she wasn't. It was as dangerous as me pretending to be a brain surgeon and going in and doing surgery. And I'm going to kill that person when I do because I have no clue of what I'm doing. And that was her.
Lieutenant Eric Thomas with the Jefferson City Police Department says several others were fooled as well. In fact, he says in Jefferson City alone, 4 businesses all hired her. He says one of them was this home health care company called Amedisys. Clyde and Lois never contacted the police, but Amedisys did. This report, filed with Jefferson City Police by an office manager at Amedisys, sparked an investigation by detectives. It alleges that Bacon provided a false birth certificate and a nursing license number belonging to someone else to get the job at Amedisys. Several months after making the report,
Dear Mrs. Rimmer,
Amedisys then went one step further, warning patients with this letter to people like Thomas Rimmer's mother.
when we got the letter, it shocked us very well. Well, I mean, it shocked us bad.
The letter explained that it fired Misty Dawn Bacon because she, quote, lied about her identity and did not have a nursing license.
I was like, oh no, she took care of my mom, and messing with the meds, it could be harmful to her health.
In its report filed with Jefferson City Police, Amedisys alleged Bacon engaged in fraud and identity theft, painting a picture of an elaborate lie, built on this woman's truth.
I received a call from an agent with the TBI. They wanted to let me know that my nursing license had been utilized by someone else.
Misty Dawn Vanette is a licensed nurse. Jefferson City Police say Bacon used Vanette's license number to work at Amedisys.
It is truly terrifying to me, and I would hate to think what she's done and what decisions she's made without having that license. She could have potentially killed someone.
Lieutenant Thomas says Bacon likely plucked Vanette's license number from this public state database. It lists the name and license number of every healthcare provider in the state of Tennessee, and it took me just 6 seconds to find Misty Vanette's information online. State officials say the database is there so that you can research providers and see complaints that have been filed against them before making appointments. But Vanette says it left her vulnerable.
All of our personal information is accessible online with that number. It may just be a license number, but it's a license number.
Lieutenant Thomas says that this case reaches far beyond Jefferson City. He says in January of this year, he teamed up with the TBI and determined that Bacon had pulled the same stunt in so many other jurisdictions, it was best to ask the U.S. Attorney's Office to open one unified case. The TBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office will not confirm if they have an open investigation, and criminal charges have not been filed against Bacon. We couldn't find any record of civil charges filed against her either. So, what does she say about the accusations?
Hello?
This is Amanda. We're hoping that we can get your side before it airs.
The only thing I want to say is 99% of stuff that you all are hearing is not true. That is all I want to say.
What exactly does Misty Dawn Bacon dispute? We showed up at her home hoping to find out. We've got a home health care company that says you lied about being a nurse. Is that true?
She don't have any comments, like I said before.
Misty didn't answer. Instead, she walked inside the home and shut the door.
It's very scary.
So you hear about a situation like this, and as a doctor, your mind goes where? Senator Richard Briggs is a medical doctor and also represents parts of Knox County.
Well, first of all, this is one of the most egregious cases that I've heard about.
So how does this happen? Well, the state does not require fingerprint verification in order for a healthcare provider to get a job. So Senator Briggs says the only answer is lawsuits. He says that'll force companies to change their background check policies. But Clyde isn't the suing type.
Sure, I could have probably sued and got lawyers and went through all this and, I don't know, maybe got a few dollars.
Instead, the fixer at heart and his wife prefer to sound the alarm using the one tool they have, their voices.
I just hope this will help someone, I really do. Ever who she was around, maybe they'll see it and maybe it'll give them courage to step forward with it.
Again, the TBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, will not confirm whether they have an open investigation, and criminal charges have not been filed against Bacon. If you have concerns about a healthcare provider, you can report them to the TBI. We have information about how to do that in the WVLT News app.
Major developments on a story that we were first to break. Back in August, we aired Amanda's investigation. It focused on a woman who at the time was accused of posing as a nurse.
Well, today her alleged victims tell me months of fighting for justice has finally paid off. We broke the news this afternoon that Misty Dawn Bacon has signed a federal plea deal. Court documents show that she agrees to plead guilty to wire fraud, healthcare fraud, and using the identities of real nurses to pass herself off as legit. Misty Dawn Bacon signed the agreement Monday. It was filed in court this morning. Now, part of our investigation included testimony from a Morristown man who told us Bacon gave him insulin and that hours later he was in the emergency room. Hospital records show that Clyde Harless had been overdosed on insulin. His wife told us he nearly died.
She came in here pretending to be something she wasn't. It was as dangerous as me pretending to be a brain surgeon and going in and doing surgery. And I'm going to kill that person when I do because I have no clue of what I'm doing. And that was her.
Investigators actually went and talked to Clyde and Lois Harless after our story aired, and then they included his account in those federal court documents that we got a hold of today. Now, back in August, we did call Bacon on the phone. We paid a visit to her home, trying to get some sort of comment on the story that we were working on.
Hello?
This is Amanda. We're hoping that we can get your side before it airs.
The only thing I want to say is 99% of stuff that you all are hearing is not true. That is all I want to say.
We've got a home health care company that says you lied about being a nurse. Is that true?
She don't have any comments, like I said before.
Yeah, she didn't have any comment, didn't answer us that day, instead walked inside of the home, shut the door. A sentence has not been decided on yet, but we do know that punishment for the crimes collectively top out at 45 years in prison and nearly $1 million in fines. You can see the entire list of East Tennessee healthcare providers Bacon is accused of posing as a nurse and working for. You just saw some video of a Medicis in Morristown. In all of our reporting, they were the only healthcare provider that we were able to find that alerted authorities to this potential fraud.
And again, the big news today is that she agrees to a plea deal. We assume she will plead guilty. Is that where we are?
She has agreed and signed documents telling federal prosecutors that she will plead guilty to these different charges that they're bringing against her.
Anything you would like to say?
I'd like for you to get out of my face.
Now, that's the boyfriend of an East Tennessee woman, Misty Dawn Bacon, accused of posing as a nurse and putting lives in danger. Thanks for joining us tonight for WVLT News at 6. I'm Amanda Hara. We first exposed Misty Dawn Bacon in a WVLT News investigation after East Tennesseans accused her of posing as a nurse and putting lives at risk. And our reporting appears to have helped federal prosecutors build their case. Today, Bacon appeared in court. The U.S. District Attorney filed the case last month. Robert Grant was there this morning as she came face to face with a judge.
Misty, anything and all you want to say? Misty Dawn Bacon said nothing. The Knoxville woman accepted a plea agreement in federal court. Anything you want to say to those alleged victims? Bacon pleaded guilty to using the identities of real nurses to pass herself off as legit. Her boyfriend was by her side. Anything you would like to say?
I'd like for you to get out of my face.
Earlier this year, we talked to Clyde and Lois Harless. The couple told us Bacon was Clyde's home health nurse and gave him too much insulin. He later went to the hospital.
It's scary. I can't imagine life without him.
Yeah, it's good to be here, knowing that I could have been gone.
Now they're spending the holidays together, knowing nearly 7 years ago could have been Clyde's last.
When my husband first got sick, and they brought her into my home to take care of him, my full trust was in her.
They're still fighting for justice and new laws. Misty and her boyfriend continued without comment. So did her attorney, Nikki Pierce. Ms. Pierce, is there anything you want to say on behalf of your client? She said nothing. Misty will be back in court in April for sentencing. In Greenville, Robert Grant, WVLT News.
Bacon faces up to 45 years in prison and up to $750,000 in fines.